steroid injections, I was on an IV drip for about 7 hours, thought it was the end, thought I was going to die. Welcome to another Gaz Right video. Welcome back to the beautiful Bali. Over the last 6 months, I've been traveling through all of Southeast Asia into Indonesia, and it is an absolute minefield if you have a peanut or nut allergy. So hopefully I can share and bestow some wisdom, some knowledge to make your life a little bit easier and make some choice of what countries you want to go to. Ultimately, I'm allergic to all nuts, but specifically peanuts. I've been hospitalised previously in the UK and also in a country on this trip. So there's lots of lessons to be learned, and I'm going to do a key tips section at the end. When I'm choosing countries to go to or how adventurous I'm going to be in those countries, I look at two key factors. One, do they cook a lot with nuts in their local dishes? And two, what is the language barrier? So ultimately for myself, does a country speak a lot of English? I'm not saying it's a negative if they don't, but ultimately it's a key factor if there's a big language barrier in how adventurous I can be with the local dishes. So I'm going to go through 3 top countries, 3 worst countries, and this is just from a nut allergy perspective. We had phenomenal memories across them all. If you do have any questions, bang them in the comments down below. Whilst you're down there, hit that subscribe button. Still en route to 2K subs, baby. Let's get straight into it. So in case you skipped straight to this section, I just want to reiterate, we had a phenomenal time in all these countries, great memories, and I personally wish I could try more local food, love experimenting, love delving in to different cuisines and cultures. So it's only on the allergy front. So let's go worst countries in reverse order. So in number 3 is Laos. So I would say here language barrier was medium. So some people spoke English, some people didn't. Not the strongest, so I had to do a lot of Google Translate on the old phone. And they do cook a lot with nuts in their local dishes. So it was obviously quite difficult there. Ate in a Japanese restaurant quite a lot. I'd say Luang Prabang was slightly better than Vang Vieng. However, Vang Vieng had the maddest experience where I went to the same restaurant 4 times and had the same dish every single time, absolutely fine, no issues. And then the last time we went in there, again, ordered the exact same dish, nothing different, the same people who served me every single time, and they just covered the entire dish with peanuts. Wasn't even on the menu, wasn't on anything like that. So again, that's obviously just a slight worry, because it's not only like, oh, obviously I didn't eat that dish, but it's a case of, right, cross-contamination as well. So unfortunately, Laos is taking spot number 3. In number 2 is a place where we had a sensational time. Like, anyone that goes traveling will go to Vietnam. It is phenomenal. There's so much to do, so much to see, so much to explore. However, if you have a nut allergy, this is going to be absolute carnage. They use nuts in, I would say, every single dish. There's peanut oil used for cooking. I tend to, when I get to a new place, specifically like a country like Vietnam, I will just find a restaurant and I'll eat at the same place in each city. So when we're in Hanoi, I just had to eat at this Japanese restaurant. I just ordered like 3 lots of food once a day, just absolutely fueled up. In Sapa, exactly the same. I would say Sapa was even worse. I mean, it's even more remote. It's not as international. And yeah, you're up in the old hills. So unfortunately, I just had to go to a wood-fried pizza oven place for every single meal there. So yeah, unfortunately, even though I'd say the language barrier is better in Vietnam, because they do get a lot of tourists, I would just say it is just maybe lack of understanding, lack of awareness. People in a lot of these countries, the allergies just aren't a thing. And when you even when you explain, oh, I'm allergic to something, I think people often think, oh, this is my perception when I've kind of been a bit unsure with people. It's kind of as if they're more, oh, you'll just get a little bit ill, or you'll just, I don't know, bloat up, something like that, rather than, no, I could die or I'm in hospital. So again, I'm going to do a little key tip section at the end, but I always have it Google translated on my phone to, if I eat nuts, I will die, and go with like the more severe warning. However, in number 1, the worst country we visited from a nut allergy perspective is Cambodia. I would say the majority of places we went, people didn't speak English. I would say they cook every single dish. We were on there for a few days as well, and we only went to Angkor Wat. But yeah, I would say this was a minefield in terms of trying to find somewhere that didn't use nuts, didn't cook in peanut oil. It was absolute carnage and crazy story. So if you've not watched my Cambodia vlog, but we were there for 2 days. We just wanted to go in, do Angkor Wat, and then like do sunrise at Angkor Wat. Got there, and it was quite late, so we thought, you know what, let's just eat at the hotel, and then we can get an early night's sleep, and we can get our nice sunset at Angkor Wat. Got into the hotel place, Google translated, I am severely allergic to nuts, I would die. There's no one else in the entire restaurant. Had my EpiPens out, showed them the EpiPens, explained it multiple times. Yep, that's absolutely fine. And we hadn't eaten in like 24 hours because we're traveling from, can't remember where we travelled from, but a long travel day, so I was absolutely starving. Anyway, the food came and I was so hungry. I just ate through this like kebab chicken thing straight away, and I was like, oh God, my throat doesn't feel too good. Anyway, Emma was like, obviously she had I've never eaten peanuts before, but obviously, and she was like, yeah, that's got peanuts in it. So went to the chef, went to the lady who served us, and I was like, does it have any nuts in it? And she just went, oh yeah, it's only got peanuts. And it's like, again, obviously in the moment you are annoyed, but at the same instant, I keep saying, like, in certain countries, they don't have allergies, they don't have that understanding. So I can never actually be, obviously in the moment I was annoyed, but you can't actually be annoyed at people. So yeah, I was straight on a tuk-tuk, straight to hospital, getting pumped full of antihistamines, getting pumped full of, what else did I get? Steroid injections. I was on an IV drip for about 7 hours, thought it was the end, thought I was gonna die. However, Cambodian hospitals are absolutely banging. We turned up to this place, it genuinely looked like a dentist or something like that. Got in there, had a member of staff with me the whole time, private room for 7 hours, all the injection, it cost me £55. So yeah, we lived to fight another day. One of the cat lives gone, but yeah, for me, Cambodia was by far the worst place. Have you been somewhere worse? We didn't go to Thailand on this trip. I've been there about 7 years ago, and that was probably, I'd say, equally as bad from that. I didn't get hospitalised or anything, but yeah, something to be aware of. Have you been anywhere similar? Have you been anywhere worse? Let me know in the comments. We've done the bad, let's get on to the good, because one of my favourite countries of all time, maybe 3 of my favourite countries of all time. We're currently in Bali, we're currently in Indonesia, and for me, when we sat down at the first restaurant here and they said, do you have any allergies? That set me up for knowing we're in a good little spot. Ultimately, really strong from a language perspective here. Every single person speaks English, especially in all the restaurants. To be fair, everyone here is super friendly, super nice, super welcoming. So I can only say good things on 1, the experience, but 2, also what it's like from an allergy standpoint. I'd say every restaurant, or at least 8, 9 out of 10 will say, do you have any allergies? And when you just, even if they don't and you say, oh, I'm allergic to whatever, they will always write it down. And when you get like your receipt or your printout of your meal and what you've ordered, it will literally say on there like no peanuts or no nuts or whatever like that. So really strong understanding, really strong from a language standpoint, and I think it ties in. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's just super nice here. So even if sometimes on the odd occasion that they don't know or don't understand, they'll just go and get somebody, or they'll just take you to the chef. So yeah, been super good here for food, and the food, by the way, in Bali is absolutely banging, like ridiculous value for money. I've done a cost video on Bali that should already be live on the channel whilst you're watching this. But yeah, if you're thinking about coming to Bali, nothing but good words from your boy. Get it on the list. And then in number 2 and number 1, I'll just put these 2 together because it's kind of very similar, like the explanation of why they're good. So it's South Korea and Japan. So the 2 reasons here: super international place. They speak to people with a lot of different languages. Every single person speaks English, and they just don't cook with nuts in their local food, so it just wasn't an issue. I've been to Japan twice and South Korea for the first time on this trip, and yeah, it's just never even a concern. You can go anywhere, and yeah, they just won't have any nuts in the food. Have you had a dish in Japan or South Korea with nuts in? If you have, let me know down below, because yeah, everywhere we went, we were absolutely fine. Do you know what I mean? If you're eating all like the sushi dishes, the ramen dishes, again, no nuts, no peanut oil, very good understanding, very good English, and yeah, the food is banging. I always say Japan is my favourite country that I've ever been to. I think that, yeah, that probably does still hold some weight. Maybe Italy. one of the two. Both slightly different, both banging. We'll put them at joint and we'll assess in the coming years. But yeah, for me, it's about that really, really strong language barrier or language understanding. And yeah, do they cook with it? And I think that's why Japan, South Korea are so good traveling with the peanut allergy, because yeah, they tick all those off. So Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, specifically Bali, get them on the bloody list. Key tips and tricks from yours truly. These aren't an exhaustive list, but I think putting these in place are going to help you out quite a lot, to be honest. So let's kick it off with plain and simple. Stock up on loads of EpiPens. I brought 5 on this trip with me. Make sure they've all got like a year in date, so if anything does happen, you can get yourself to the nearest hospital. On the topic of hospitals, make sure you book somewhere near a hospital. So the King, aka Emma King, aka the Missus, is excellent at doing this. When we're looking for places, she's not only trying to find us like banging accommodation, she's also trying to find us one close proximity to like a health centre or a hospital, because I mean, if it should happen, do you know what I mean, you're going to be closer. Again, that doesn't include everywhere where you're going to go eat out, but again, that will help you just a little bit. When you are eating out, this is something I do, again, it's a bit annoying, but whatever. I'll eat a little bit of the food first, and then I'll wait like a minute, 2 minutes. So like I said, in Cambodia, I just ate the whole thing straight away, and it doesn't give your body a chance to react. So if there are a few times where I've had a little bit of something, and I felt like a little bit in my throat or whatever, stop straight away. And at the end of the day, yeah, you lose a little bit of money, you pay for the food, but at least you're not super ill. I would also advise downloading the translation offline. So I'd always pay for data, so you've got that just in case something happens and you can explain it on your phone. But if not, at least have it downloaded to say. And I would write all the nuts out, so don't just write I'm allergic to nuts, because I think that's an issue I had at the start, where people sometimes, or the translation isn't exactly the same, they don't know exactly what is or isn't included. So I will literally write every single nut out and translate that over, so people know. Be careful on cross-contamination, because as I said before, like, it's a case of, oh, I'm allergic to nuts. People just think, oh, you might be. But if someone's like, I think you get this a lot with like drinks and stuff. If you're drinking like a protein shake or a smoothie, if they've used like almond milk, peanut butter and something before. So again, I'd just be really, really careful on like the cross-contamination stuff when you're in certain countries. You can't be too adventurous on the food. I love trying loads of stuff, but certain countries, just steer clear of the local food, because yeah, it's going to have a lot more nuts. If you're eating local food in Vietnam, in Thailand, you're asking for trouble. You can be a bit more adventurous like we were when we were in South Korea. Again, we were absolutely loving it, trying all the local street food in the local markets. But again, I would only do this in certain countries where you have that confidence. And then in terms of places to eat, I often find one place and I'll just eat in the same place when we're in a new city, depending on what country it is, of course. So in like Hanoi, I was eating at a Japanese restaurant. In Sapa, I was eating at like a wood-fried pizza place. I think they're the safest two, Japanese restaurants, because they don't cook with any nuts, and then wood-fried pizza ovens, again, you're not going to have any nuts. But yeah, I would always explain it, always have it downloaded, and always make sure you tell them. But yeah, hopefully some words of wisdom. If you do have any questions about places we've been, countries we've been to, I can explain in a lot more detail. Drop me a message down in the comments below. I've got a vlog on every single place we've went, so we've had a phenomenal trip and experiences, and you can work around it. So don't, from my advice would be, don't let it put you off going to these places, because they're phenomenal memories, phenomenal sights to be seen. So yeah, don't let the old peanut allergy get in the way. If you do enjoy what you see, hit that subscribe button. Still en route to 2K subs. I'll see you tomorrow, baby. Remember, the chef is always cooking.